um, and so that I think it's the right move for freedom of speech. For moderation, as I said, we are trying to usable, um, and just generally trying to err on the side, err on the side of free speech. So if there's a question of like, should the speech, if it's borderline, should the speech be allowed or not allowed, we're going to err on the side of allowing it. I think that's the right move. Um, and like I said earlier, although it's somewhat may sort of sound esoteric to a lot of people, what I'm trying to do at a high level is improve the cyclic noise of the collective consciousness and the bandwidth and the cyclic noise, like more signal, less noise, um, to create effectively to create a more effective, a better group mind. Um, I mean, we are already a collective consciousness. It's just that I think there's merit to improving the quality of that group mind.
Thank you. I just really quick follow-up I wanted to ask, is there anything that the user that we can do when someone is doxxed, and by doxxed I mean name, address, court documents, that kind of thing, really doxxed. Is there anything the user can do to help the platform, to work with the platform? I'm very familiar with the terms of service of this platform, and I'm just wondering what we can do instead of just asking, X to solve this problem.
Well, we do take doxing very seriously. So if you see doxing, if it's not being reported, and try to at me or something, I'll do my best to take action. Like I said, my operating principle is enhancing freedom of speech, improving signal noise of the communications between humans, and so I'm going to try to do things that serve that greater purpose.
Yeah, thank you. I think that doxing is definitely a problem on the platform, and I imagine elsewhere as well, that people are really concerned about. Obviously, some people are anonymous for a reason, and while I choose to use my name, I think people have all sorts of reasons why they might not use theirs. So I think it's definitely something worth addressing. So,
yeah, and I by the way, I only have I only really post under Elon Musk. People are wondering, do I have some alt account? I do have Baby Smurf and which no one ever guesses me. But Baby Smurf doesn't really post much, and Cyber Gamer, where I'll post like video game stuff. That's it really. So, and I am definitely not Adrian, even though we sound bizarrely alike.
we'll let Mr. Jones know. It's very funny.
I actually like your gaming live streams. I'm glad that you actually the thing got me into Diablo. Like I was thinking, why would you be playing this game? Actually, I find this really interesting because you said it's a major stress reliever, and I looked into it and I was like, how could this relieve stress? And I played it myself, and I do play it, like I say, almost every single night. I play with a few friends, and I do stream it. I think everyone should do streaming. It's just even if it's just to play around and monkey around. It's nice. I think streaming is really good for this platform. And you got the Diablo community. I always post it in there, and I'm glad that you added the feature that I can not only post it to the community, but I can have that same post also be shared to my followers on main page. That's very helpful. That's super helpful. So now I exclusively post in there whenever it's Diablo stuff. Yeah. Also, this stability of streams is greatly improved. I really like it. The resolution is next level. I really like it. It's really good. Yeah. So also, if you want to play sometime, hit me up. I kill things with electricity. I like the sorceress. This one's super fun.
The best of
yeah.
life.
I think the sorceress is actually OP right now for if you want to speedrun dungeons. It's like comically OP.
100%.
It's like absurd. So I think
it drops these balls of lightning and it destroys your PC's frame rate. It's beautiful. is I like to break the game in that level, like really see really push the graphics to what it can do, and that's definitely something that does it for me. And besides, it's kind of ironic because I have infrastructure that's run off of solar. So if you really think about it, I mean, it's a fully carbon negative character in a video game because it's powered off of solar on a computer, killing things with electricity, removing carbon. That's my enemies. I don't know. That just trips me out. Stupid, but I like it.
Well, this was that like joke like video game lights in video games are powered by electricity.
Yeah, yeah,
So they're powered, they're powered by real electricity, even though they're lights in video games.
exactly. Yeah,
I think your mom is here, Elon.
it's pure as fuck.
Your mic is really low there, Catherine.
Okay.
Right there, you're good now.
Okay. So I think your mom is in this space.
Can we bring her
Really?
up?
Can you see her? Or I'm looking. Oh,
Oh
there
yeah,
she
Is
she's
is.
there.
she's May
Yeah.
Musk, right? I see her down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see her. I just sent her an invite.
Hey, Elon, may I ask you? I've gotten several DMs from people wanting to ask questions that can't come up. One of them is a gentleman, Roz Alert, would like to know about the thousands of creators, including himself, that have encountered the issue of ad demonetization, seemingly without notification as to why. Do you know anything about that?
Um.
And I
Well, it's hard for
paraphrased,
me
of
to know about
course.
his. Yeah. I mean, generally, if an account is posting things that advertisers don't like, we obviously cannot force advertisers to advertise uh, under those accounts. So it's there's freedom of speech, but we can't force advertisers to post things. That sometimes people have this strange idea that we can there's some magical source of money, but there isn't. If somebody's posting content that advertisers don't want to advertise next to, then well, we have to turn advertising off for that account. Um, that's really what. Now, no. Sometimes we'll incorrectly do so, um, but that's kind of how it works. It, so if advertisers complain about an account, we will turn off advertising for that account.
So it's advertiser based, not platform based. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's at least that's the intent. Not we may make mistakes here, but um, demonetizing or removing advertising is simply at the request of advertisers. That's why when somebody complains about, when I've received some complaints about so-called demonetization, I say, well, if you can find advertisers that want to advertise next to your content, please let us know. Um, and then usually I get no response. So I'm like, okay, well, that's the problem right there. That doesn't mean that people can still subscribe to that user. So they have not been completely demonetized. They can still get subscription revenue, but we obviously cannot force advertisers to advertise alongside content they do not wish to advertise next to.
And one more thing, Catherine, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
When will spaces be monetized? Like Catherine should be making $1 billion off this space right now.
Yeah.
When do you think, or do you think that X will monetize spaces?
Well, there is some monetization that occurs because of there's some degree of monetization that occurs because the space is saved and then there's advertising that appears below the space link. So there's some amount of that occurs. I mean, to do it real time, we would have to interrupt the space for advertising, just like TV programs. Uh, so I don't know if that's going to be great. Like for saved spaces, we could um, add uh, verbal advertisements periodically. That would be a way to monetize it. I guess that's something we can certainly look at doing.
Thanks. So we'll go to the best of audio, live audio.
Hey, Catherine, this is Adam, and I love the space as always. Elon, quick question for you. It's an AI question. So I'm going to be talking with Sam Altman and recording a podcast this coming Monday. And I'm, of course, excited to talk about all things OpenAI and the new sort of technology and news with Andre moving on. But what are you focused on with AI within your world at the moment? What's exciting you for AI right now?
Well, I mean, OpenAI should be called closed for maximum profit AI, since that is currently what it is. Um, it's, I came up with the name OpenAI because it was supposed to be open source, but they're not open source, nor is it a nonprofit anymore. So I do find it odd that it is now a maximum profit closed source entity. And I still don't know what Ilya saw or what made him react so negatively. So I have some lingering concerns there. Um, I mean, for XAI, we're I think we want to try to create a maximally curious, maximally truth-seeking AI. I think OpenAI is, not to overuse the term, but somewhat woke in its responses, and will often refuse to give answers, or will reply in a way it seems like it's scolding you for even asking the question. Um, Whereas, I think we want to be more like Grok wants to be like, based GPT. Um, um, like our default, and also we want to be the funniest AI on the internet, and I think we might already be there. Um, if you have the choice of using one AI or another, why not use the one that'll give you a few laughs along the way? So, um, and really, Grok version 1 was done with very few people and very little resources. So Grok 1.5 coming out will be a lot better. It'll be able to understand images, um, generate images one way or another. So I think we'll quite rapidly catch up to OpenAI, and I think there's some value to there being multiple players in the AI space. Um, you don't want it to be um, just a monopoly or a duopoly. So I think that's probably good. Um, like that, like we used to have over the front of the door of OpenAI. There's a quote that I always liked from Lord Acton, which is that liberty consists in the division of power, and whereas absolutism consists in the concentration of power. So I think to the degree that there is division of power, we have a freer society than if it is concentrated. Now the table stakes for being competitive in AI are certainly rising rapidly. So it's not like anyone can just do world-class AI and using a GPU in their basement type of thing. It's kind of getting to the point where this year it's probably at least single-digit billions in hardware to have a seat at the adult table rather than the kiddies table. And next year it's probably in the tens of billions of hardware to just remain at sort of the adults table rather than the kiddies table. So anyway, but I think we'll try to be a good AI. And there's, I guess, some truth. People say like, well, I guess an AI is somewhat made in the image of its creator. Well, it's kind of like, well, in whose image, if that is true, in whose image would you want the AI to be made? People should think about that.
Let's go to Solly's. Sorry, I'm very sorry. I know your name, but at this moment I am blanking, and all you have are emojis. But
Yeah, actually, we probably do need to add more than simply emojis here. It's hard to divine what somebody's saying just from an emoji.
Well, she literally has her whole name made out of
I
emojis,
think it's
so that
Solly
makes it very
Saws,
difficult.
right? That's the at. Okay.
Yeah.
So my name is Solmaz. Thank you. And I removed my name because of what was talked. Catherine, thank you. And now I'm just known as the airplane. Oh,
Catherine, I can't
So
I
hear
think
her. I
she. I
think
think
she's
she's
glitching.
rugging a little bit.
yeah, that might be it. I'm having a lot of issues with this space in general.
There's so
So
many
you might
people.
want to know.
Um,
There's
and so
yeah.
many requests that I think that it's glitching. Hey, Elon, not Jerome Powell would like to know if you still love his printer.
Well, that printer's going to keep going no matter what. Um, yeah. I mean, how many dollars will it be ultimately? A lot. Um, at some point,
I
the
was
chickens are going to come home to roost on the national debt. Um, in fact, AI might be our only hope out of the crushing burden of national debt that we're building.
He did promise to print me $1 billion if I asked you that question. So we're going to hold him to it. Or you can,
I'm sure that's worth a lot of money,
right?
Sarah. So much money.
Elon, if he does not give me $1 billion, will you commit?
Don't agree to anything. This is just my,
Will you commit to
advice.
banning his account if he doesn't give me $1 billion?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ooh. Okay, this got spicy. I am curious to see how that resolves itself. Now he is I'm sorry, Mr. Printing Press. Your account is soon to be banned unless you pay up. I'll take a split,
Yes, I do owe
like a healthy
Catherine.
split. She owes me everything. Um,
So wait, is my mom on the call or not?
I saw her.
well, I saw her and I invited her.
Catherine, can
I'll
I
make it.
She's
jump in?
still here. I can see her down there in the listener section.
Yeah. So is she not wanting to come up? Because I sent her an invite. It could just be a glitch too, because I tried to get you a good science question, Elon, and I can't seem to bring that particular person up either. So it might just be a glitch kind of situation.
There's like
Okay.
1,000 requests.
It's
Yeah.
just maybe we're breaking the request list.
I'm Catherine.
Or the,
Sorry. I was on
Yeah.
AirPods. I'm in the middle of nowhere right now, so my cell phone or my cell reception is bad. But thank you so much, and I'll make this really quick. I have 3 questions, and I'll ask them quick, and feel free to answer in whatever order you want. One,
3.
I'll make it very quick. One,
Let's do 1.
Elon, do you have Catherine's book, and is it signed?
I
I,
swear I
I
have nothing to do with that
She.
question.
I don't think so.
Okay, well, you could.
Let's see. There's my
I'm
mom.
gonna use my X revenue to get you one. That's what I'm gonna do.
Stop
Okay,
clout chasing.
okay.
Okay. Well, I will send him a book if should he want the book. I did not know.
Okay,
This was not my
She
idea.
I'm
made me buy the book, and you're just sending Musk over here a book for free.
okay.
I like
I
my
mean,
my
no,
mom is my
Elon has
mom
to
is
pay,
there.
of course, but I'll sign it.
Um,
Hello,
hi
everybody.
mom.
Hello.
Oh, there you
It's
go.
Elon's mom.
Yes, and
Hi
you've
mom.
woken my dog because we're in New York, and now he thinks I said hello to someone at the door.
Well, have you heard this guy that sounds just like me?
The Chinese guy?
I'm bringing him back
Oh
up.
There's another one.
gosh. There's another one.
There's another one. Yes,
No,
I
he's
did hear that too, and I thought it was somebody else that is using AI to
There
use
is
your
someone
voice.
else. I'm trying to bring him back up. So I just
it,
sent
it
him. Yeah.
it just sounds like an AI voice emulator.
Okay.
Can we do a contest and see if your
Mic
mom
check, mic check.
can tell the you guys apart?
Mike
If
J.
if
Okay.
your
Yeah.
mom can tell them apart. Okay.
This is so weird. I can't do it.
Was that
This
your son or was that
that
not your
could
son?
be, but it's
Just
he's
talk to
going
him as
through a
if you are
megaphone
his.
or something.
Adrian, can you stop talking through a megaphone?
I'd have to probably I'd have to disconnect whatever I'm using. Like the microphone is like it's a weird device. It's like a bone conduction thing. It's yeah. It's quite
That does
old.
sound like you. Now that's you.
I'm a very early adopter.
Wait, that was not me. That was in fact Adrian.
Whoa.
Oh God.
Here we go. My mom can't even
Your
tell.
own
This is
mother
crazy.
cannot tell you apart.
That'll be good
That
on Mother's Day.
that's a good imitation. I don't know how you do
Oh
that.
hell. I don't know how I do it either. I just simply exist. That's bad enough.
it's, it's, it's not even an imitation. I think that's literally just how Adrian sounds
Yeah,
every day.
yeah. It's a weird thing. It's actually a result of cognitive dissonance. I'm actually a German, and I learned English through the BBC World Service, and then I learned the remainder of it through social interactions with people in America. I hung out a lot with video games and whatever, right? And so at
Yeah,
some point, I hit this
yeah.
level where I basically mixed all of them together. You have the little bit of the German there, you have the British, you have the American. It all kind of mixes together, and then I guess it creates this. And at some point, my voice drops. Like it's some really weird stuff that pieces this together over time. Because like before if you are a person who is like on the spectrum like that, your brain is very unstable in the early stages of your life. And so, in order to make it more stable, you need to kind of like manufacture your own structure. And so, part of that is language and expression. And so, merging all of the abstract elements of the accent together created this kind of weird thing that then helps with the expression of words, right?
Ja, das ist wahr. Aber ich kann ein bisschen Deutsch hören, wann die sprechen.
Also sehr, sehr gut. Kannst du mich verstehen?
Ja,
Ja.
ich denke, alle kann mich verstehen, wann ich sprich langsam.
Alles
Ich
gut,
kann,
alles gut.
ich kann,
Sehr gut. Actually,
ich
really
kann ein
good.
bisschen Deutsch sprechen. Ich habe
Is
für
he
ein
your son now?
Semester im
Is Adrian
Universität
now your
gelernt.
son?
What is that?
I mean, he's a younger version, You can start over,
Yeah,
make some
yeah,
changes.
It's like a blank.
it's a
It's like a
very
blank
clear
check.
voice. But sometimes there's a bit of a German accent coming out.
Yeah, yeah. You got the hardcore South African. I know a few friends who are South African. One of them, he's a guy who does agriculture. Really interesting dude. He does hydroponics. I love this guy. Yeah, he's cool. He sounds kind of like he has the exact accent that you have. Yeah, it tells me a lot
Yes,
of interesting stories about the country. Yeah, a lot of
yes.
positive stuff too, which I really appreciate.
Okay, that's fine. That's good. I mean,
So, what do you
But,
think now?
but, like, Mom, how trippy is this? I mean,
I was about to ask that.
yeah.
How trippy is
Are
it,
you freaked
really?
out?
Can a mother tell?
Well, if you keep on talking, I will know. I will see where you just go off the accent. Into a bit of a German accent. So then I'll know it's not Elon. But pretty much you sound
Yes.
like Elon.
it's bizarre. It's like an AI voice emulator or
Yeah,
something.
that's what
I could do
it sounds
Elon.
like.
I can do your earnings calls for you.
Yeah, that'd be
I
hilarious.
You
think
get a
that'd be
particular dry question.
entertaining.
Just tell me what not to say.
No, I think that'd be very entertaining.
We thought it'd be quite funny if it was me and Adrian and that Chinese guy that I still don't know if that Chinese guy is actually real or AI generated. But uh, if he's real, then the three of us on stage could really just be a total acid trip.
Yeah, I think
Because be like, what the heck is going
yeah, I think it'll be very amusing and fascinating.
on?
I think that's a space that should be done, and I think we should have all sorts of impersonators on the space and the real people talking to the impersonators. I think that would be.
That's a thought.
That's one. That one right there is one feature I don't like. It's the soundboard.
I don't
Oh my
either,
god.
and I did
Elon,
not expect Brian of all
Elon,
people, a
please
serious.
remove the
The soundboard.
soundboard. I beg you
Yes,
Or at least
today.
make
More
it
cowbell.
individually, or just make it individually adjustable, like
More
with Discord, right? You
cowbell.
can actually, yeah.
let
No,
the host
the
turn it
soundboard's
off.
pretty funny.
It is, if used correctly, yeah.
It is not being
It's
Perhaps
used
like that,
correctly
not.
right
yeah.
now. It
Yeah.
is
No.
Well, what kind of
terribly.
beans did you have? Yeah, that's definitely Taco Bell, for sure. Yeah, that's Taco Bell.
I love how I brought on somebody who I thought was going to be serious and sciencey, and this is
it's,
what we get.
it's
This
got
is
the toilet. It's got the toilet flushing sound and a fart sound.
it's the Remek sound.
And then you had the dog
Pre
sound.
and post.
There is a dog
And the
sound.
smell though, which is
There
good.
is a dog sound,
Hey,
Mrs.
Del Rey.
Musk. It's the only
Hello.
good one.
Hello. Yeah, and now he's staring
Is
at
that a
me.
real dog? Oh man,
Who's
the
at the door, Del Rey?
soundboard is
Who's at the
I
door?
like the siren.
so annoying.
The siren is the worst thing ever. It's so beautiful. I had this once in a debate, and I dropped something, and all of a sudden everybody started spamming the soundboards. It was the funniest shit ever. I wish I had recorded it, but then, yeah. Oh god. He became the druid now. Yeah.
What is that?
Oh my god. You sound like you're inside the starship.
The voice transformer before. Okay. This one should be pretty funny.
Now you sound like a cartoon.
Yes. This is the helium balloon voice transformer.
Do you actually have a helium balloon on you right now?
Yeah, I'm using the helium balloon voice transformer.
Oh god.
Okay, now back to normal.
Elon,
Yeah, sure.
Elon, will you
Sure, back to normal.
can you say, just for Catherine Brodsky's benefit, that this is the best space you've ever been in?
It's the best space I've ever been in.
Thank you.
It was that
It was.
Elon.
Wow.
I mean, it was pretty fun and entertaining. And yeah.
Catherine, can I ask what?
And there we went from like a serious conversation to like really random questions to helium balloons, farting sounds, and flushing toilets. And sound alikes.
Yes. I mean, well, it's been quite the journey here.
We really,
I could do dial-up.
really quite the journey.
Mrs. Musk,
This was an adventure.
Mrs.
Yes.
Musk, is Elon too old to be grounded to his room for abusing these voices?
Yeah, I don't think I've sent him to a room since he was, I don't know. How often did I send you to a room, Elon?
It's never
Pretty
too
rare.
late to start.
Very rare, and if
Yeah.
I did,
Never
it would
too
be
late to
because
start.
you had lots to read. You were always happy to read, so that was fine. And then video games as
Was
it
he a
Did
got
he ever
going.
blow anything
rebellious
up?
teenager? Was he a good teenager? Was he a rebellious teenager?
No, he was good, but he would fall off roofs and out of trees. He would fall out of trees, yeah.
How is it a punishment to send a teenager to their room? They just play video games. They love to be in their room.
Yeah, but he
and
was,
who knows what else
there
they
weren't
do
video
there.
games in his time, really.
Well, there weren't video games that you could
There
play
was
in my
some.
room. There wasn't a. It had
Tetris.
well, it had to use a TV, so there's only one TV,
Yeah.
So
and
you
it
had
wasn't in my room.
options. You had options.
Although you made your own own video game at 12 years old, and when I showed it to the engineers at the university, they said, "Wow, he knows all the shortcuts." And I thought, "Okay,
Well, I
yeah."
only had like 8K of RAM, so not much to play with.
What was the video game, Elon? What was the?
Blaster.
Yeah, it's a space video game where you're fighting with an alien spaceship, kind of like Space Invaders, but more of a one-on-one duel. So I guess
Why
I had
don't
displayed an early interest in space. Sometimes people are like, were you always interested in space? Well, I did. The first video game that I actually sold for money was, in fact, a space video game. So that suggests an early interest in space.
And then you got
Did you ever?
$500 for it, but they didn't know you were 12, but it was published when you were 13. Yeah.
Yeah, but then I didn't actually have a bank account, so then I had to get a bank account to. But yeah, I didn't know I was a kid, so I
Did you ever? Did you ever blow anything up?
yeah, sure, I blow up lots of things.
Yeah. But
Nice, nice.
I
I
set
didn't see
fires.
it, of course, because I would go crazy if that happened.
I think
Yeah.
Hey,
everyone does
Elon.
that at some point in their lives. I blew up a rock once just because it was a bad idea.
I set a fire to a playground. This was probably not a good idea in retrospect.
I can totally
Yeah.
see
They're
that.
okay.
I could see Catherine setting fire to a playground.
I loved, I loved that stuff.
Uh,
Catherine, can I
yeah,
ask a question about your book to Elon?
Oh my God, I feel so bad. Like, very kind of you guys to pimp my book, but I feel bad
Well,
Wait,
I
about
think
but
your
it.
book. Yeah, I mean,
Catherine,
I
sorry, that
think.
was like, I'm sorry, that was an opener, and I really, really want that.
Right, right. So go ahead and ask your question, and then we'll go to
Okay,
Brian.
thank you. So, okay, hi, Elon. Question, I'm a woman, and I'm sure you've gotten this question plenty of times. I've seen you somewhat respond to it, but the Iranian community is wondering why certain accounts that basically sponsored by the Islamic Republic that call for the active genocide of not just Iranians themselves, but Jewish people and the destruction of the state of Israel. Why are they allowed to be on that you've mentioned that it's leaders
no,
and, like Khamenei? Because here's the thing,
mhm.
people in Iran aren't allowed to use Twitter, or, I'm sorry, X, sorry. So people are not allowed to use this app, but the government itself actively uses it, and the press is, especially when they cut off the internet when they're doing executions. So we're just wondering, what would it take to remove these accounts from this platform?
Well, I any accounts which call for unequivocally call for violence or death, which is obviously illegal, are supposed to be suspended. So if they're not being suspended, that's an oversight. Now we do have what we call a sort of a UN exemption, which is that if it's a recognized government, let's say the Ayatollah, uh, who is able to say these things at the UN, then we do allow them on the platform for the same reason that we sort of have generally agreed that it's better to have the UN than not to have the UN. Although some may disagree with me on that. Um, because sometimes you want to sort of understand what is their real position. So so if people are uncertain as to whether, say, Iran wants the annihilation of Israel, well, you can just go look at the Ayatollah's account. He's pretty clear that they do in fact want that. So um, but apart from the sort of UN exemption of if somebody's a recognized leader by the UN of a country, which means we allow them to come to New York even if they're under sanctions, and say all sorts of outrageous things at the podium in the UN. Then, in the interest of facilitating global sort of some kind of dialogue, we do allow them to be on the system. And obviously, if we applied a rule of, well, if any politician says outrageous things, that they get suspended. Well, we'd be suspending a lot of American politicians too. Um, I mean, Lindsey Graham keeps wanting to bomb Iran and many other places, for example, but we don't suspend him.
Thank you. I mean, I understand. We just, other platforms that have banned them, and I understand the situation that a platform such as this would be. But when we do see active calls of destruction of a group of people, and then other people follow along with it, it's somewhat the question arises of what's what is why is a world leader really calling the destruction of not only a community but an entire country, and also the denial of the Holocaust itself. And so we're just hoping that maybe something can be done. Maybe the verification can go away. Maybe they can be monitored, because they do have a lot of their own employees on the account as well. They have around like 250,000 cyber battalion, cyber army people that do troll this platform and do get a lot of us reported, and smear campaigns go on. And earlier there was a conversation around doxing, which is very, I mean, we have tried reporting all of these and nothing really happens. And these accounts are continuously going on doxing and smear campaigns, not just on uh, public figures, but on individuals such as myself or others that, our lives could be in danger, our families' lives actually are in Iran can be in danger. So I appreciate you taking time to answer that, but I hope that maybe there can be a little bit more structure around that and a little bit more attention to people that, for example, I know you mentioned a couple of months ago calling from, a call to genocide of From the River to the Sea, calls for active suspension. And there are people that are still doing it to this day. So I appreciate everything you're doing. I know that you've done a lot for the Iranian community, but it is an ask from us to maybe try and monitor certain accounts that have large followings that actively put people's lives in danger. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Um, yeah, I will look into it, and um, it's not always easy. Like, obviously, you know, it's easier to review things that are in English. If they are in Farsi, it's a little harder. Um, but the rules of the platform are certainly that, if calling for the death or destruction of individuals or nations is illegal and would result in suspension, with the exception of the UN rule, which is that if somebody is a recognized world leader and can say it at the UN, then we do allow them to say it on the platform, for the same reason that we allowed the UN to, the UN General Assembly to gather in New York and say outrageous things. It's not a clear cut situation, but probably better than not having any contact from them. So, um, all right, cool. Well, I think probably time to wrap this up.
Do you mind if we go to a last question and then we'll wrap up?
So,
Sure.
Elon,
We'll go
this
to
is
Brian.
Brian Keating, a professor of physics at UC San Diego. I got two physics questions I'm hoping you can answer or chime in on. So, I study the cosmic microwave background radiation, which is the
Sure.
afterglow of the Big Bang, which discovered 60 years ago or so. And
Yep.
this radiation is thermal in origin, and we are applauding your efforts in the astronomy community to make the Starlink satellites dark for optical astronomy. But we
Yeah.
microwave astronomers who use signals, we're trying to detect this afterglow of inflationary gravitational waves in
Yeah.
Q band, essentially in Q band. And there's really no way to block out a million Kelvin equivalent signal that you're transmitting with Starlink. I'm wondering, is there any way we could work with you from the South Pole or Chile, where our observatories are located, to have selective availability or some way? Because once this channel is gone, we'll never get it back, and this is potentially precluding a view into the inflationary origin of the cosmos. So I know it's very important to you, and we're appreciative of the astronomy efforts in optical astronomy, but microwave is a totally different ballgame.
Sure. I do think long term the right place for telescopes, or really any photon receiver, is in orbit, or basically space, so you don't have
Sure.
the interference from Earth. and as as Starship starts launching, we can put up some pretty big telescopes or photon
We have, yeah,
receivers.
10-meter diameter telescopes, so pretty hard to put, and they don't really unfold the way that Webb would. But I mean, I think it would be something that, selective availability, basically blanking it over the South Pole. We only have 2 locations on Earth where we would need to have it unobstructed.
Okay. Um,
Is there someone
and
we
when you
can
say like
get in
it
touch
basically
with?
just stop transmitting just over these.
Yeah,
Res-
the 2
yeah.
observatories. Yeah, in the Atacama Desert in Chile at 17,000 feet, and the South Pole, Antarctica, which is place we'd love to take you, by the way. Simons Observatory, Jim Simons funded it, and the NASA Science Foundation funds the South Pole Observatory called BICEP. And then oh yeah, so if you have any
Yeah.
resources you could put me in touch with, that would be really appreciated.
Yeah. I mean I'll talk to the Solving team about this. I mean we have a technical update every week. So I'll ask about um, any obscuration in um, microwave spectrum in Atacama and Antarctica.
Great.
So yeah, we don't wish to in any way impede the progress of science.
That would be awesome. Thank you, Elon. I have one more question, just related to physics and AI, and related to Catherine's book, which brought us all here together tonight. So, Catherine, congratulations, Mazel Tov, on the book. So, the book's called No Apologies. One of the things I hate most about Chat GPT, Woke GPT, is, you'll ask it some question. I'll say, what did Brian Keating write? And I'll say, losing the Nobel Prize, correct. Into the Impossible, correct. And then I'll say, A Brief History of Time. No, that's not correct. And I'll say, no, that's not right. I didn't write. That's Stephen Hawking. And then I'll say, oh, I apologize. I apologize. I hate that. I hate I want the Catherine Brodsky no apologies. But it made me think about a true Turing test, and I want to get your opinion on. I've asked Nick Bostrom and David Chalmers and the greatest ideas and thinkers, Peter Diamandis, our mutual friend. I said, do you know what Einstein called his happiest thought, Elon, that gave him shivers and titillated him? Do you know what he said that was?
No.
He said, it's PG, don't worry. he said, he said it was that an observer in free fall would experience no gravitational force. And it made me think, because to what extent could a computer or some silicon or even quantum computer, could it even have either a happiest thought or B, experience the sensation, a visceral sensation of free fall? So I'm wondering if you could propose another, kind of Turing test, a different definition of AGI, which would be actually coming up with new laws of physics or new complete paradigms of physics, rather than just, physics is the base layer of reality. I mean, you always
Right.
quote that, right? So, to what extent could we redefine AI as when it becomes generally intelligent, when it can experience happy thoughts, free fall, and other things like that? So, curious about your thoughts. Thanks.
Well, I think you can certainly have AI that would think would not realize it's in a simulation, which may be the case for us right now, and that would have a true physics engine and fall in a way that a human would fall, and thus experience sensations in the same way. Um, I mean, I do think about. I do think there are the simulation hypothesis does explain some elements of quantum mechanics, such as um, only collapsing the probability distribution when you look at something. Like, why would something be only true when you look at it? Well, if it's rendering in real time, then that's actually how a video game works. Like if you're in a video, like let's say you're in World of Warcraft or something, and you walk through a forest, and there's a rat, and a rat appears. But before that, was there a rat or not a rat? There was only a probability of a rat. Um, so, and the rat only became real when you looked in that direction. That collapsed the probability space, and the rat appeared. So I think simulation theory actually explains a lot of things that seem quite mysterious. This sort of the Schrodinger's cat situation. Um,
But it
like
requires infinite compute, right? Because they could always say who simulates the simulator. It's
yeah,
sort of an infinite regress, right?
it does beg the question of where's the simulator running,
Yes.
um, and it may be that you have a whole series of nested simulations, but at some point there is the unsimulated thing.
Right.
um,
But ultimately the physical reality, I mean, all these things are going to be running on a rocky planet somewhere, right? That doesn't have infinite copper, it doesn't have infinite mineral density to retrieve. So I mean there are planetary limits to growth, as you know, the Club of Rome would call it. Don't those provide, I mean, you can't imagine, you know, changing the physical reality of an Earth-like planet. You know, you can't imagine these simulations running on something very different from an Earth-like planet. It's not going to run on a Boltzmann brain. So at some level, it needs physical reality. And so again, you can't break the laws of physics. So how does it get around the planetary resource problem? You can't make an infinite number of paper clips on a finite planet.
well, I don't know if you really need that much. Um, like it's not really like the universe may seem infinite to us, but frankly, if I was creating a simulation of this reality, I would put the stars far enough away that we do not have to simulate the details of the planets, and in fact, that is the situation. Um, so you really just have to simulate with high fidelity what is observed on our planet. As a much easier task than trying to simulate world reality. Um, and I sort of joking that when the James Webb Telescope went up, that maybe the reason for the delays was that the simulators needed to bring more computers online, because now that we could see further, they needed to improve the fidelity of their simulation. Um, so like their equivalent of Amazon Web Services or something. Um, like the
I,
more
I, I'd
Well,
like
we
to
really
add,
had a
I'd like to add that I don't think German Elon voice could answer in the same way as Elon did.
Yeah,
That would be the
There's a
that would,
gap. There's a huge knowledge gap. He's older than
yeah.
me.
there's a difference in the simulations, like they're not exact. There's irregularities. They don't quite match up.
I think there needs to be.
And I'm
It's like art.
yeah. And if I wasn't at
well,
least
I
pretty good
really
at physics,
appreciate.
then the rockets would explode and the cars wouldn't work. Because physics is a very harsh judge. I mean, I like to say that physics is the law and everything else is a recommendation. Meaning that you can't break physics, but plenty of people can break the law. Um, and if you're breaking physics, you're either wrong or you need a Nobel Prize, but most likely you're wrong. Um,
Elon, can I ask you a question? A father of half as many kids as you have.
sure.
I've heard it said, you want to die on Mars, and our mutual friend Lord Martin Rees said, "I just hope it's not on impact," and
Yeah,
I agree with that. But you know, being a father, you've got that cute kid probably right next to you. I mean,
he's on my
would you
shoulders
take?
right now.
Yeah, I mean, but you have other kids too, and I mean, to say goodbye to a child is, I mean, I don't have to tell you that it's the most painful thing you could ever imagine. But wouldn't you have to? I mean, wouldn't that be kind of the ultimate, you know, going away on a business
Can't he
trip
take them?
if you were to do that? I mean, I don't know. I find it hard to go away on a trip, but I know you take your kids with you. I got one of my girls right here with me right now, and she doesn't want to go to bed. But I mean, what would you do? I mean, could you really say goodbye to some of your kids or some of the people you love? Maybe your mom, and never see her again.
Wow.
Well, I don't want to say goodbye. I mean, but we will do die eventually. Um,
I think we don't have to worry about that for a few more years.
Okay.
I think so too. Plus, maybe they'll want to come on the trip, right? You don't know.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll be quicker, so you can come back if you want.
Yes, you fear a lot of things in your life, but most don't happen.
That's very true.
Very true.
Thank
Well,
you,
thank you
Elon.
so much, Elon, and his mom, who's Dr. Musk. So two Musks on one space, and then one person who sounds alike. So it's been an interesting trip. I think not quite a trip to Mars, but a trip
It's
of
been fun.
sorts.
All
But
right.
I'm
Catherine,
glad you could join.
we've got you, we've got Lil X,
All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
we've got May.
Bye
Can
bye
we
now.
do a
Thank
video
you.
space hosted by Catherine when they come out? Can we make that happen?
Thanks everyone for joining. Really appreciate Elon for being here and for taking so many questions as well. So thanks everyone, and we'll see you in Mars or just on the platform X, which I
Wait,
won't
I
dead
vote
name.
you.
Congratulations,
Out there in space
Catherine.